there have been a total of 80 WWE wrestlers to be released this year. That is an insane number. Not just wrestlers, but also, just people who worked for the WWE just fired. And a lot of them are wrestlers, and when I look at the ones that have hurt me and like have left a kind of an impact on us, sort of, and we're just gonna talk about them this once that, not as the hardest, so number 5, it's Keith Lee. So Keith Lee was really promising in NXT, and he was used really well there, and he was even a double champion, being North American and NXT champion at that time. But we kind of realized that he can be great on the main roster too. So we thought that WWE was gonna actually push him and use him well when he finally went to the main roster. And he kind of was, but the thing was that they started changing his attire, started changing his theme song, and it was kind of like, why? He was fine the way he was, just let him be Keith Lee. And then he did beat Randy Orton clean, and it looked like he kind of could have had a push, but then he left for a little bit because of health issues he had, and he was gone for a long time. We weren't even sure if he was going to even come back, because he was gone for a very long time, and he was very quiet about it too. And he finally did come back, but it was kind of like underwhelming, because he came back and was basically repackaged, and he was called Keith Bearcat Lee. So, and it wasn't really working, honestly, with the fans and stuff. It just wasn't it. I don't know, he could have just been Keith Lee. They should have just left him be himself. But nope, they kind of just ruined him, and later was fired, among other wrestlers. And for number 4, we're going to be talking about one that was actually fired along Keith Lee, Karrion Kross. So Karrion Kross was very promising too from NXT. He was NXT champion. He looked amazing, like he was just destroying everyone, and he really did look like a force to be, recognized, and like he was just like, wow, who can beat him? You can beat Keith Lee. You can beat Karrion Kross. Well, we kind of found that out when he was called to the main roster on his debut match on Monday Night Raw. He lost to Jeff Hardy, who at the time was basically just someone who kind of lost all the time. He lost to Jeff Hardy in not even like a 5-minute match, where Jeff Hardy kind of cheated to win. Well, no, he did cheat to win, and Karrion Kross lost, so they kind of just basically ruined him right off the bat. As soon as he debuted, I don't even know how you can even do that. That was really, really dumb of them to do. And they also got rid of his lady, Scarlett. She wasn't even there with him anymore when making his entrance, and I don't know why. That was so dumb, and it was a bit dumb. And then they started making him really stupid attire where he looks like a dildo, and it was stupid. It was really dumb. And then, not even that long after that, he was fired along Keith Lee. You really hate to see that. Man. It was bad. And he could have really been one of the top faces of the company if they would have let him and, used him better. Okay, now it's time for number 3. Number 3 is Aleister Black, So the thing about Aleister Black, he looked promising at first. He debuted. They made it look like he was a big deal, and he was winning matches. And then he needed WWE, just was WWE, and they ruined him. They just completely just started. Okay, he wasn't ruined right away. Like he could have done something, but so he was just I don't know. WWE just started like kind of making him look like a jobber. Like he was wear an eye patch, a new theme song. He was just like, it was just like, why are you doing this? And he would then come back. He would then come back after being gone for a long time, after his last match in WWE ever, which is still his last match, even though after he came back for like a day. After he came back, first he had his last match, which was against Kevin Owens, and he was gone for a long time, for a very long time, for months even. And then they started repackaging him. He would get these videos, and they made it seem like, wow, Aleister Black's coming back. Can't wait to see what this is. And then he finally came back, and it was awesome. It was so cool. He black masked Big E and helped Apollo Crews retain his Intercontinental Championship. And it was like, oh, we're gonna get Big E and Aleister Black rivalry. Let's go. And it was crushed because he was then released like a week later. So they brought him back just to fire him. Not even like soon after. It was just I don't understand that. Like, they brought him back and then fired him. And he was supposed to have a storyline with Big E, obviously. That's what it looked like. I don't know, WWE was so dumb with that. And then they fired him. And they fired him too, and it was like, why? He was like, and it was like, he had so much potential, and like, he was so good. He was a great, amazing wrestler. I mean, amazing. He was so good in the ring, and his matches were great. And he had this unique style of wrestling, and he had this awesome gimmick, and it was like, he had the entrance, he had everything, and he completely botched it. And it's not his fault. Not his fault at all. Okay. Let's talk about number 2, which is Bray Wyatt. This one shocked me the most this year. This one was just insane to me. It was like, how can you really mess this up this bad? They literally had everything there. And they did good job at first with The Fiend. And then they just completely just dropped the ball on him. After his match against Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell, which I don't think is too bad. It didn't ruin him. It didn't completely ruin him. But it wasn't that bad. He would eventually, because the match ended in disqualification, which is stupid. Why would a Hell in a Cell match end like that? That's ridiculous. And yeah, and then, but he would soon also win the Universal Championship from Seth Rollins, because they realized that was retarded of them. Like, why would we do why would we do that? We need to do something fast now, because the fans aren't happy with this at all. So they quickly put the championship on The Fiend, it was a great call, because he had a pretty good run as Universal Champion. He would beat Daniel Bryan. He would also defeat The Miz, and it was pretty fun rivalry. So, and this is when it went long. So, Saudi Arabia event, they had him defending against Goldberg, and everyone was like, "He's not gonna lose to him. He's not gonna lose to this old man Goldberg." Like, what? It's kind of a cool match though, because we never seen something like that, and he lost it in under a minute, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, in an awful match, by the way, just terrible. like not even good, like just one of the worst matches of 2020. And then he would be gone. And that was when he ruined him. That was when they ruined him. They ruined the Fiend. And then he would have the rivalry with John Cena, which was okay. He would also have a rivalry with a couple of people, winning the Universal Championship back to lose it in 8 days to Roman Reigns. He would then also have a rivalry with Randy Orton, and then he would lose that rivalry basically because Randy Orton beat him at WrestleMania, and which the Fiend should have definitely won. I do not know why the Fiend did not win that. It was because they wanted to go somewhere with Alexa Bliss and the Fiend, which did nothing. They went nowhere with it, and it was like, why? Just make the Fiend win, dude. And then he was gone from TV and then fired. And that one was just terrible. Like, probably the most wasted potential there, because they had it. He could have been one of the biggest draws in wrestling, honestly, because he was very over. He had the gimmick, he had the look, he had the entrance, he was selling merchandise like crazy. They're still selling his merchandise, making new merchandise to this day, and they're still selling his stuff. And even though he's gone, because they know that he's good, and that the fans like him. Ridiculous. Number 1. This is our last release that we're going to be talking about, and it's the one that hit me the hardest. And I think it hit probably everyone the hardest because of the circumstances in this one. Jeff Hardy was fired this year, and he's probably going to be the last person to be fired this year. And yeah, he got fired not too long ago, and it was because he refused rehab after this live event that he had. And it's really sad to see this, because he seemed like he was clean, he seemed like he was confident in himself, and it seemed like he was in a better place now. And it looks like his addiction might be back, and he declined the rehab and then was fired. And it really sucks, because it's just like, Jeff Hardy was one of the wrestlers that everyone loved, and it seemed like he was also scheduled to get a big push in WWE, even maybe facing Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at some point. And he was one of the last people in the Survivor Series team, which made him look amazing, $1 million against him and Seth Rollins, and it just looked like they were going somewhere real fast. And it's not even really WWE's fault, actually. It's not at all. I get why they fired him, because Jeff Hardy, declined the rehab, and he seems to be back in that spot, which really sucks, because it's just awful. And I hope he gets better. I hope he's able to find peace with himself and stuff, because he is one of those wrestlers who's just a great human, it seems like, and doesn't deserve to have this addiction at all. He's great, he's amazing, and it's sad to see him go. Really hurt, because a lot of people are fans of him, and me and myself included. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and it's sad to see him go. And it really does suck. Anyways, what do you think is the worst release this year? Do you agree with my opinion? Please let me know in the comments. And yeah, I guess that's it.